I think it's fair to say that Champions is released to mixed reviews, though I'm happy to announce that I sit on the positive side of those reviews, but it can't be ignored that there are issues with the game. I want to start off where we all start, the tutorial. I thought the overall tutorial was very good. The text was a bit slow, but I thought it went through the basics of Pokemon battles very well. I also liked how during the initial tutorial, it introduced ideas like switching into favourable matchups, which sounds intuitive, but it's good that the tutorial emphasises the importance of switching in and out of Pokemon. As a somewhat new player into VGC, it was great to have these sort of introductions in the game itself, rather than relying on word of mouth and your own research to find more information. After the initial tutorial, there are additional tutorials for double battles, Mega Evolution, priority moves, physical and special moves, contact and non-contact moves, weather, and finally terrain. Whew. These tutorials were amazing. For new players, it really helps with understanding the importance of many aspects of the game. Overall, the tutorials were very good, and I think they definitely ease people into more competitive Pokemon battling. I found the recruitment system to be quite easy. The interface is easy to navigate, it's clear what you're getting, and I think the option of trialing Pokemon is good if you're unsure on the Pokemon you actually want to use. In my first recruitment after the tutorial, I tried Conkeldurr, and I'm unsure if I'll use them, but that's fine, it's what the system is there for, and I think that's great. Recruitment costs 2,500 victory points, or 1 recruitment ticket to permanently recruit, and you can trial a Pokemon for free for 7 days. There is also a cooldown of 22 hours before you can see a new selection of Pokemon, but you can use quick passes to speed that up by 1 hour per pass. This is also where you transfer Pokemon in from Pokemon Home. The Pokemon transferred over keep their stats, their natures, and if they've been edited from mints, and movesets for the original games. This is huge for your existing Pokemon, and allows you to massively reduce the amount of VP you need to train Pokemon later. One downside of the system is that if you are a free-to-play player with no home or previous games, I can see this becoming an issue with people not being able to find the Pokemon they want or need for teams. This is a pretty big drawback for free-to-play players. I'm unsure if there's a good workaround for this. I would be interested to see what people think who are playing these games for the first time and who don't have the Pokemon to send in from Pokemon Home. As a quick positive, I've seen that you can indeed shiny hunt Pokemon on the ranch. I look forward to not seeing a single shiny Pokemon in my time playing Pokemon Champions. Training. Like the recruitment and tutorials, it's a very easy to use system, with clean AI and clear costs. While I haven't spoken about the in-game currency yet, here, the ranch, and the shop are where you'll be spending it. VP, or victory points, is acquired through free places, and I'll talk about that later, but back to training. Each stat is 5 victory points, costing 160 to max out 1 stat. To use all 66 points available, it costs 330 VP. To change a nature, it costs 500, to change moves, it's 250 per move, and to change abilities, it costs 500. Overall, to change absolutely everything on one Pokemon, it costs 2,330 VP. This seems like a lot, but playing for about 4 to 5 hours, I have 35,000 victory points, and have spent about 2,000 on Pokemon changes and 1 item. Training is simple, it's easy to use, and it's clear in what it sets out. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. So, victory points, or VP, can be earned in 3 ways: playing the tutorials, playing in ranked, and completing missions. After completing all the tutorials, you get 20,000 VP, which I feel is more than enough to get you started off playing Champions. Playing ranked battles give me 300 VP for a win, and 111 for a loss at Pokeball tier. When I moved up to Great Ball, I was getting a little more, but it wasn't consistent, and I think it might have been win streak bonus. I think it's safe to assume 300 for a win and 111 for a loss. Additionally, there are daily, weekly, starter, and membership missions. All of these reward various things, such as VP quick passes or recruitment and training tickets. Overall, the system is a good supplement to VP game from ranked battling. The shop is another area where you can spend VP, on both items for Pokemon to hold and cosmetic items for your in-game characters. Items cost vary from 400 VP for berries to 2000 VP for Megastones. And speaking of items, there is a massively reduced item pool from what the VGC players were expecting. Some of the most commonly items such as Life Orb, Assault Vest, Choice Band and Choice Specs are not in the game, not to mention more niche items such as Weakness Policy or Jetpack. I understand why people are upset about this. It does massively reduce the flexibility of Pokemon sets, and damage output or tankiness you expect a certain Pokemon to have. However, I think this limited item pool is a good thing. It allows new players to get to grips with few items and not have decision paralysis on where they need to spend their well-earned VP. To buy all of the current items in the shop, it costs 118,000 VP. This is a very high amount, and we shouldn't expect new players to have to fork out currency on an item and then decide actually that item isn't what they need. I need to say here that 94,000 of that is just Mega Stones, but if you did want to try out all of the Megas, then it's a cost you need to pay. Speaking of Megas, let's look at the Pokemon that are in Champions. There are 213 available Pokemon, including regional variants. A lot of these Pokemon we're not expecting to be in the game. I'm looking at you, Elemental Monkeys. Overall, I think a limited dex is a good thing. Not having some of the most powerful Pokemon in the format on initial release is better for overall health of the game and player retention whilst getting into something new. And let's not forget, this is a live service game. More Pokemon will be coming. I will say it's interesting to see Pokemon like Archaladon and Basculegion in the game, and not Goldengo, Annihilate or Ursaluna. Although saying that, Archaladon has received a big nerf with no body press or Assault Vest, so I can see how that power level has been brought down. One Pokemon who I'm a little bit concerned about is AZ's Eternal Floette. It's got an insane ability in Fairy Aura, and it's got very good stats. I think it could be a Pokemon that's format warping. I'm interested to see where this will lead, but I'm hopeful that Mega Floette won't be an auto-include on all Pokemon teams. Don't look at my team, don't look at my team, don't look at my team, don't look at my brain team. Box space for Pokemon appears to be pretty limited to begin with. You start with 30 spaces and then get an extra 5 spaces for reaching Great Ball and Ultra Ball ranks, and a further 10 when you reach Master Ball. Having started with a team of 6 from the tutorial, I brought in an extra 14 Pokemon from home, leaving me with just 10 spaces to spare. This obviously won't be an issue for everyone, but I think we could do with some more space to begin with, especially if we expect all Pokemon to be in the game in the distant future. Primarily, I think Champions release went well. I know there is a lot of issues with bugs, and I understand why the existing VGC player base is frustrated with its release. However, as a new player getting into VGC properly for the first time, I am very happy with my experience. I know there have been reported bugs, but I personally haven't experienced any. I don't think it's fair to expect a live service initial release to be 100% bug-free. No game is. In fact, the team behind Champions announced a patch that will be going live 11 o'clock UTC to 1 AM UTC, April 9th to 10th, to fix many of the issues already raised. My only personal issue is there's no bag function. I cannot easily see what items I have and the amount of passes I have for things like quick passes or training and recruitment tickets, which let you skip the training and recruitment costs in one ticket. It would be nice to know the full list of resources I have available to me, but I'm hopeful this is something that will be sorted in future. Overall, I'm really enjoying the game, as I thought I would. I'm excited to see how Regulation Set MA develops over time, and I'm personally looking forward to competing in some upcoming tournaments, such as the Warm-Up Challenge in April 10th to 13th, and the Grand Champions Festival hosted by Jacob Squirrel VGC. I think this is a great time to get into Pokemon VGC, and I hope that more people download the game and give it a go. That's all from me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.